The mind is the fertile soil in which all prosperity takes root, and the thoughts we harbor are the seeds from which our life blossoms. Every millionaire was first rich in thought, for it is the silent, persistent habits of the mind that shape the visible world. Wealth is not a matter of chance, nor is it the outcome of mere labor. It is the natural flowering of certain mental disciplines, quietly practiced, often unnoticed, yet infinitely powerful. Those who walk in the world of abundance understand that the mind is a magnet, attracting conditions, opportunities, and people that correspond with the inner conviction of prosperity. Observe the mind of a millionaire, and you will notice a serene certainty, an inner calm that does not panic in the face of obstacles but sees opportunity in every seeming difficulty. This is the habit of positive expectancy, a mental habit that refuses to accept limitation, that knows every problem carries the germ of its own solution. The millionaire does not argue with appearances. He does not dwell upon lack or scarcity, for he has learned the law of mental correspondence. What he affirms within, he manifests without. Another quiet habit of the wealthy mind is clarity of purpose. The millionaire's thoughts are directed, focused, and unwavering. There is no room for idle speculation or doubt that dissipates energy. Every idea is weighed, measured, and nourished until it manifests in practical action. The mind is trained to see clearly, to select what is necessary and discard what is extraneous. Such mental discipline creates a natural order, a rhythm in which thoughts move like currents of power, drawing toward them the conditions necessary for success. Gratitude, too, is a silent architect of fortune. The mind continually acknowledges the blessings already present, expands the capacity to receive more. The millionaire does not wait for wealth to arrive before feeling thankful. The feeling of gratitude itself opens the door to greater abundance. It is a mental habit that transforms desire into reality, for the universe responds not to mere wishes, but to the inner conviction that abundance is already flowing. Furthermore, the habit of generosity walks hand in hand with prosperity. Wealth never clings to a mind that hoards. Those who give freely, who share their knowledge, their resources, and their influence, are invariably rewarded in ways that surprise the intellect but delight the heart. Mental generosity strengthens the law of circulation, ensuring that prosperity is never stagnant, but continually renewed. In all things, the millionaire's mind is aware of the power of spoken words and inner declarations. Every sentence, every thought, is an affirmation of either limitation or expansion. The one who quietly, consistently chooses words of faith, vision, and courage sets in motion invisible forces that yield visible riches. It is these small, almost imperceptible mental habits, practiced daily, that quietly create millionaires. The power of thought. Millionaires cultivate a mind that consistently focuses on abundance, not lack. The mind is the original creator, the unseen architect of all visible conditions, and it is in the silent chambers of thought that fortune first takes shape. Every millionaire is first rich in imagination and belief, for it is the quality of thought that determines the quality of life. A thought is a living seed, and like any seed, it grows according to the attention, nourishment, and care it receives. Those who cultivate the mental habit of focusing on abundance discover that wealth is not something to be chased in the outer world, but something drawn effortlessly to the inner conviction of sufficiency and possibility. The mind, when trained to dwell upon prosperity, begins to attract the opportunities, the people, and the circumstances that correspond to its dominant thought. One of the most potent habits of the wealthy mind is the refusal to give attention to scarcity, lack, or limitation. It is a quiet, persistent discipline to dismiss any idea that poverty is inevitable or that circumstances control outcomes. The millionaire knows that thought is the invisible force that moves mountains and clears paths where none appear. He understands that dwelling upon absence or difficulty only magnifies those conditions, for the law of correspondence ensures that inner beliefs manifest as outer realities. By contrast, when attention is given to what is possible, to what is already abundant, the mind opens channels for provision, innovation, and creativity. Visualization, imagination, and mental rehearsal are daily exercises of the millionaire mind. Each day, a conscious effort is made to picture oneself living in the state of desired abundance. It is not mere fantasy, but an act of faith and alignment, a mental declaration that the universe is ready to respond. The details of these mental pictures are vivid and precise, for the mind responds to clarity and certainty. Every sense is engaged. The millionaire sees the richness, feels the satisfaction, hears the opportunities, and acts from a place of inner assurance. This is the secret of the silent accumulation of wealth. The imagination precedes reality, and the habitual focus on abundance programs the subconscious to create and recognize avenues for prosperity. Alongside visualization, affirmations and spoken words play a crucial role in shaping thought patterns. The millionaire uses language consciously, for words are not idle sounds but creative tools that impress the mind with the law of expectation. Phrases such as, "I am open to new opportunities," or "I am constantly attracting abundance," are repeated not as idle wishes, but as deliberate instruments of manifestation. Each repetition strengthens the mental conviction and gradually transforms subconscious blocks into a receptive state. Negative talk, self-doubt, and complaining are immediately recognized as thieves of opportunity, and they are swiftly replaced by statements that elevate and empower. The wealthy mind also exercises the habit of selective attention. It chooses carefully where it invests mental energy, recognizing that the mind is like a magnet that draws what it constantly contemplates. Worries over scarcity, envy of others, or fear of failure are consciously dismissed, for they only reinforce the very conditions the mind wishes to avoid. Instead, attention is placed on growth, solutions, ideas, and possibilities. Every thought is filtered through the lens of opportunity and abundance, creating a momentum that carries the individual effortlessly toward wealth. Persistence is an essential companion to this mental habit. The millionaire does not allow a single thought of lack to take root, nor does he expect instant results. The practice of maintaining a consistent focus on abundance, day after day, shapes character, develops resilience, and strengthens faith. Each moment spent in mental alignment with prosperity reinforces the law that thoughts are the architects of destiny. Challenges may appear, yet they are viewed as temporary conditions, opportunities for mental discipline and refinement, rather than permanent barriers. The mind of the wealthy is also tuned to gratitude, for this amplifies the power of thought. Recognizing and appreciating the abundance that already exists, whether it be health, relationships, skills, or financial resources, creates a fertile field in which new wealth can grow. Gratitude shifts the mind from a state of lack to one of receptivity, and it opens the channels for the universe to provide more of what is acknowledged and celebrated. In this way, the millionaire's mental habits combine focus on abundance with appreciation, forming a potent law that operates silently but effectively, even in moments of uncertainty. The millionaire maintains a mental posture of expectancy. Faith in the unseen power of thought replaces anxiety, and confidence in the law of attraction guides decisions. The mind does not cling to evidence or external validation, for it understands that thoughts are the true creators. By consistently focusing on what is desired rather than what is feared, the millionaire mind quietly shapes circumstances, draws the right people, and manifests wealth in ways that often appear miraculous to those who do not understand the inner law at work. Clarity of purpose. Success follows a mind that is directed, disciplined, and unwavering in its goals. A mind without direction is like a ship without a rudder, drifting endlessly, subject to every gust of circumstance. Yet the millionaire's mind is always purposeful, always guided by a clear and unwavering vision. Clarity of purpose is the silent compass that directs every action, every thought, and every decision, shaping circumstances to match the inner intent. Those who achieve extraordinary success know that the outer world yields only to the inner clarity, that ambition without focus is wasted energy, and that every great accomplishment begins first, as a precise mental image. The law of directed thought is simple, yet profound. What the mind fully sees, comprehends, and intends, it inevitably manifests in the material world. The millionaire practices the habit of defining goals with precision, not vaguely or half-heartedly, but with a detailed understanding of what is desired. This is not merely wishing or hoping, but a firm inner decree, a declaration to the universe that certain outcomes are to be realized. Every mental effort is concentrated on these defined objectives, and the mind refuses to wander into doubts, distractions, or indecision. This unwavering focus shapes the subconscious mind, which acts as a tireless servant, constantly aligning actions, opportunities, and circumstances with the conscious intention. The clarity of purpose acts as a magnet, drawing to itself everything necessary to bring the vision into tangible reality. Those who succeed understand the danger of divided attention, of allowing the mind to be scattered across too many desires, too many tasks, or too many fleeting interests. The millionaire selects a single dominant purpose and surrounds it with supporting habits, thoughts, and decisions that reinforce it. Time, energy, and thought are concentrated in one direction, forming an invisible channel through which resources flow with ease. Every choice, whether large or small, is measured against the clarity of that purpose, and actions inconsistent with the vision are gently but firmly set aside. This discipline is quiet, almost invisible, yet it creates enormous momentum, turning small, consistent efforts into outcomes far greater than mere calculation might suggest. Visualization is an integral part of maintaining clarity of purpose. The millionaire daily sees in the mind's eye the exact outcome desired, imagining not only the end result but also the steps along the way, the people involved, the conditions that will manifest, and the feelings that accompany success. This detailed mental picture impresses the subconscious mind, which begins to orchestrate events and align circumstances to match the vision. The clarity of purpose is strengthened with every repetitio, every focused thought, until the mind is entirely attuned to the end goal, and distractions lose their power to divert attention. Mental discipline is essential to sustaining clarity of purpose. The millionaire does not allow doubt, hesitation, or fear to infiltrate the mind, for these are the enemies of direction. Instead, the mind is trained to respond to obstacles with calm discernment, seeing challenges as temporary detours or opportunities for refinement rather than permanent barriers. The clarity of purpose does not deny reality, but interprets it in alignment with higher objectives, allowing each circumstance to serve the vision rather than disrupt it. Thoughts are carefully chosen, conversations and associations are selected to reinforce the goal, and the mind remains undisturbed by negativity or idle speculation. Planning and deliberate action naturally flow from clarity of purpose. The millionaire understands that intention without action remains a dream, and therefore every day is structured with purposeful activity. Priorities are set, distractions are minimized, and every effort is directed toward the achievement of the defined objective. Yet action is not frantic or anxious, it is deliberate, calm, and confident, for the mind knows that persistence, consistency, and alignment with inner purpose are more powerful than hurried, scattered effort. The energy of the mind is focused like a beam of light, cutting through obstacles and illuminating the path to success. Clarity of purpose also fosters resilience, for the millionaire's mind is unwavering even when external conditions fluctuate. Temporary setbacks are seen as part of the natural course, opportunity. IES for learning, adjustment, and strengthening of resolve. The clarity of purpose protects the mind from wavering, from succumbing to discouragement, and from allowing fear or indecision to cloud judgment. Each day the mind returns to the dominant vision, reinforcing the certainty of outcome, and strengthening the invisible magnetic force that draws people, circumstances, and resources into alignment. The inner conviction created by clarity of purpose is often imperceptible to the world, yet it commands attention, respect, and response from all that the mind encounters. Opportunities that would escape a scattered mind present themselves, doors open seemingly effortlessly, and relationships form with people whose influence accelerates the manifestation of the vision. The millionaire understands that this is no accident, but the natural effect of a mind wholly directed, disciplined, and unwavering, where clarity of purpose creates a pathway invisible to those whose thoughts lack focus. Even the simplest decisions are guided by this mental habit, for clarity is not reserved for grand strategies alone. It is applied consistently, in every moment, every interaction, and every choice, forming an invisible lattice of intent that strengthens and amplifies the dominant purpose. The mind is like a garden carefully cultivated, weeds of doubt, distraction, and negativity removed, and seeds of intention, focus, and persistence nourished until they bear fruit in abundance. Gratitude as a magnet, daily acknowledgement of blessings expands the ability to receive more. The mind that is grateful is a magnet for abundance, for gratitude is not merely a feeling but a creative force that transforms every condition into opportunity. Those who cultivate the habit of daily acknowledgement of blessings discover that prosperity flows naturally, effortlessly, and continuously into their lives. Gratitude is the silent architect of wealth, shaping circumstances, attracting people, and opening doors that otherwise remain closed. It is the practice of recognizing the good that is already present, no matter how small, that sets in motion the law of increase. And those who master this habit find that their ability to receive more multiplies exponentially. The millionaire understands that the universe responds not to complaint, worry, or focus on lack, but to appreciation and acknowledgement of what is already provided. When the mind dwells on absence, scarcity, or unfairness, it only reinforces those conditions, for thought is creative, and the subconscious mind responds faithfully to the dominant feeling. Gratitude, in contrast, fills the mind with light and abundance, expanding perception to notice opportunities, solutions, and avenues that would otherwise be invisible. It is the habit of lifting attention from what is missing to what is present that unlocks the invisible channels of provision and invites more of the same into daily experience. Daily practice is essential to fully harness the power of gratitude. The millionaire does not wait for great blessings to appear before expressing thanks, for that would make prosperity conditional and uncertain. Instead, appreciation is expressed for the simplest things: health, relationships, knowledge, skills, the roof over one's head, or the food on the table. These small acknowledgments create an inner atmosphere of abundance that grows steadily stronger, impressing the subconscious mind with certainty that more is coming. The mind trained in this habit sees not obstacles but stepping stones, not lack but opportunity, and it quietly attracts circumstances that match its elevated state of awareness. Gratitude also serves as a lens through which challenges are transformed into lessons and opportunities. The millionaire does not resist difficulties with fear or complaint. Instead, he seeks the hidden benefit, the instruction, or the growth potential within each circumstance. Every situation, no matter how trying, is reframed as an opportunity to practice gratitude, to see the good, and to affirm that the universe provides all that is necessary for success. This mental habit protects the mind from discouragement, impatience, and doubt, replacing them with faith, optimism, and trust in the unseen law of provision. Words and affirmations are vital tools in expressing gratitude. The millionaire speaks appreciation aloud, declares it in writing, and embeds it in thought, for words are the instruments through which the mind impresses the subconscious and calls forth creative response. Statements such as "I am grateful for the abundance flowing into my life," or "I recognize and rejoice in the wealth that surrounds me" are repeated consistently, reinforcing belief and aligning consciousness with prosperity. Negative speech, complaint, or focus on scarcity is consciously avoided, for the law of attraction responds with precision to the prevailing state of mind, and gratitude ensures that the prevailing state is one of receptive abundance. Gratitude also enhances clarity and focus. A mind fixed acknowledgement of blessings naturally becomes aware of priorities, resources, and opportunities that serve the larger vision. By appreciating what is present, the millionaire is able to make wiser choices, invest in valuable ventures, and form relationships that support growth and wealth. Gratitude sharpens perception, heightens discernment, and strengthens decision-making, creating a subtle but powerful advantage in all endeavors. It is through this mental habit that the wealthy mind transforms ordinary circumstances into extraordinary outcomes, quietly attracting the means, the people, and the ideas necessary for success. Furthermore, gratitude expands the capacity to receive. The mind that recognizes abundance is prepared to accept more, for receptivity is the natural companion of appreciation. The more one acknowledges and celebrates the good already present, the more the universe responds with greater blessings, creating a cycle of increase that multiplies without effort. This is the secret of quiet accumulation. For the millionaire does not need to strain, struggle, or force results. The habit of gratitude magnetizes conditions that correspond with the inner state, and wealth flows naturally as a result of inner alignment. Gratitude also fosters generosity, another key habit in the mind of the wealthy. The one who appreciates what has been received instinctively shares with others, knowing that giving does not diminish abundance but circulates it, creating a natural law of increase. Mental acknowledgement of blessings therefore extends beyond the self, creating ripple effects that elevate not only personal circumstances, but the conditions of others. This expansive attitude of appreciation forms an invisible network of prosperity, drawing people, ideas, and resources into alignment with the inner state of recognition and celebration. Even in moments of apparent lack, the millionaire maintains the mental habit of gratitude, for it is the persistent acknowledgement of what is present that transforms perception and reality. No circumstance is allowed to dominate the mind with fear, complaint, or negativity. Instead, the mind is trained to find the smallest point of light, the tiniest blessing, and expand upon it, letting the inner sense of appreciation grow until it radiates outward, attracting favorable conditions, solutions, and wealth. The practice of gratitude becomes so habitual, so natural, that it requires no conscious effort, functioning as an unseen magnet that continually draws prosperity toward the one who maintains it. Generosity and circulation, giving freely strengthens the flow of wealth and opportunities. The mind that gives freely is a channel through which abundance flows, and the millionaire understands that wealth is not meant to be hoarded but circulated, for the law of provision operates most powerfully when energy is allowed to move without obstruction. Generosity is not simply the act of giving, it is a mental habit, a conscious practice of recognizing that what is released returns multiplied, and that the circulation of resources creates an invisible force that strengthens opportunity, relationships, and prosperity. Those who cultivate this habit find that their wealth grows silently, continuously, and often in ways that surprise the intellect. Yet the law is simple. The more freely one gives, the more the universe responds with increase. The millionaire practices the habit of giving with intention and awareness. Every act of generosity, whether it is money, knowledge, time, or influence, is carried out with a mental understanding that it circulates abundance rather than depletes it. Giving is not performed reluctantly or with fear, for fear binds energy and interrupts the natural law of return. Instead, it is carried out joyfully, confidently, and with faith in the unseen power of circulation. This mental habit aligns thought, feeling, and action with the law of provision, and the universe responds faithfully, delivering resources, opportunities, and people that correspond to the inner state of giving. Generosity begins in thought before it manifests in action. The millionaire cultivates a mindset of abundance, in which there is always more than enough to share, where lack is never the focus, and where the inner conviction is that the world is filled with resources waiting to flow. This mental habit prevents hoarding, fear, and limitation from taking root, and it establishes a pattern of expectation and trust that more will always come. The mind trained in this way does not calculate or measure too closely, for it knows that the act of giving itself sets in motion the law of increase. Those who practice generosity understand the importance of timing and alignment. Giving is not a haphazard act. It is directed by intuition, insight, and awareness of opportunity. The millionaire recognizes moments when resources can have the greatest effect, when knowledge or influence can open doors, and when small acts of kindness create ripple effects that return manifold. The mental habit of conscious circulation ensures that giving is not wasted, that it strengthens relationships, builds trust, and expands the capacity for future prosperity. The universe multiplies what is released in accordance with the law, and those who give with discernment experience returns that far exceed expectation. Generosity also cultivates a sense of detachment from material things. The millionaire is not attached to money, possessions, or status, for attachment creates limitation, fear, and anxiety. Instead, the mind is aligned with the principle that resources are tools for action, service, and circulation, not symbols of security or power. This detachment frees thought, allows creativity, and opens the way for unexpected blessings to enter. By giving freely, the mind sends a signal to the universe that it is in harmony with the law of supply, and the unseen force responds with opportunities, wealth, and solutions that reinforce the inner belief in abundance. The habit of generosity extends beyond mere material wealth, to the sharing of knowledge, guidance, and influence. The millionaire recognizes that ideas, connections, and wisdom are as valuable as money in creating prosperity, and these are shared with the same confidence that they will return multiplied. Mentoring, collaboration, and teaching are all expressions of the circulation principle, and they create networks of support and opportunity that accelerate success. By giving freely, the mind impresses the subconscious with the certainty of return, creating a constant flow of benefits that reaches far beyond immediate perception. Gratitude and generosity operate hand in hand. The millionaire who acknowledges blessings is naturally inclined to share them, understanding that the joy of giving strengthens the flow of abundance. This mental habit produces a self-reinforcing cycle. Giving creates a sense of appreciation, appreciation draws more, and the cycle continues silently yet powerfully. Even small acts of kindness, thoughtfulness, or financial contribution create invisible currents that draw wealth, opportunity, and goodwill toward the giver. The habit is quiet, almost imperceptible, yet its effect is cumulative, building an invisible structure of prosperity that supports the millionaire's life in countless ways. Even in times when resources seem limited, the millionaire practices the habit of circulation. Faith in the law of increase overrides fear, and the mind releases what it has with confidence, knowing that the universe is unlimited and constantly replenishing. Scarcity is never allowed to dominate thought, for this would block the natural flow. Instead, the focus is on trust, expectation, and alignment with the principle that giving strengthens rather than diminishes the reservoir of wealth. The consistent practice of generosity creates momentum, forms connections, opens doors, and establishes the invisible magnet that draws continual increase, ensuring that the flow of abundance never ceases. The law of words and declarations. Every spoken thought and inner affirmation shapes reality. The words we speak are not idle sounds, but living forces that impress the subconscious and shape the conditions of life. Every declaration, whether spoken aloud, whispered, or repeated silently within, carries a power that calls circumstances into being. The millionaire understands Cheech. That thought and speech are inseparable, that inner affirmations become outer realities, and that careful, deliberate use of language is one of the most potent mental habits for creating wealth, opportunity, and success. The mind that is trained in conscious speech directs unseen forces, magnetizing conditions that correspond precisely to its inner state. Those who achieve great prosperity recognize the danger of careless or negative language. Words of doubt, complaint, fear, or limitation act like seeds of destruction, planting obstacles and scarcity in the fertile soil of the subconscious. The millionaire avoids gossip, criticism, and self-deprecation, for each phrase, no matter how casual, carries creative weight. Instead, speech is used as an instrument of affirmation, declaring what is desired rather than lamenting what is absent. This habit, practiced consistently, impresses the mind with certainty, transforms belief, and begins to attract the conditions that correspond, with abundance. Affirmations are a daily exercise in mental discipline. The millionaire consciously states positive, constructive declarations, turning thoughts into spoken commands to the unseen forces. Words such as "I am constantly attracting wealth," "opportunities flow to me effortlessly," and "I am aligned with the abundance of the universe," are repeated not as idle repetition, but as deliberate mental acts that impress the subconscious and condition the environment to respond. The mind, once trained to affirm, begins to recognize opportunities, take decisive action, and align circumstances with the declared intention. Inner dialogue is equally important. The thoughts repeated within the mind have as much, if not more, influence than those spoken aloud. Every time the mind entertains fear, doubt, or lack, it strengthens the very conditions it wishes to avoid. Conversely, each moment spent in positive, faith-filled, and purposeful thought builds invisible currents that bring ideas, people, resources, and wealth into alignment. The millionaire observes the inner conversation carefully, correcting negative self-talk and redirecting the mental energy toward desired outcomes, recognizing that the inner word is the blueprint for outer manifestation. Consistency is the cornerstone of this habit. Words, once spoken, require repetition to take root deeply within the subconscious and to shape circumstances. The millionaire maintains a steady stream of affirmations, allowing them to penetrate every aspect of thought, decision-making, and behavior. The mind is continually reminded of its intention, aligning action and perception with the desired reality. The habitual use of empowering language transforms character, strengthens faith, and magnetizes conditions that are favorable to the expression of prosperity. The law of words extends beyond individual affirmation to include interaction with others. The millionaire understands the influence of speech in relationships, negotiations, and partnerships. Encouraging, positive, and constructive language creates trust, opens doors, and invites collaboration. Each phrase spoken in alignment with truth and intention forms an invisible connection, attracting supportive people and favorable conditions. Words are not used carelessly or casually. They are precise instruments that direct energy and form the environment in harmony with inner purpose. Silence, too, is a form of declaration. The millionaire recognizes that withholding negative speech, resisting complaint, and maintaining mental discipline creates a vacuum in which positive manifestations can enter. Mental restraint is a habit that protects the mind from self-sabotage and strengthens the impact of intentional words. The combination of deliberate affirmation and conscious silence amplifies the creative power of thought, allowing declarations to impress the subconscious with clarity, faith, and expectation. Faith accompanies every spoken and unspoken word. Without belief, affirmations are hollow, and the law of attraction is weakened. The millionaire couples declarations with absolute trust in the unseen power of the mind and the universe, knowing that what is impressed within will inevitably manifest without. Each word, spoken or thought silently, is an act of faith, a confident assurance that the desired condition is already in process of materializing. This mental habit of coupling words with belief multiplies effectiveness and accelerates the arrival of wealth, opportunity, and success. Even in challenging circumstances, the millionaire continues the practice of conscious speech. Negative conditions are never reinforced by complaint, despair, or pessimistic language. Instead, affirmations are directed toward solution, abundance, and opportunity. Every sentence reinforces faith, expectation, and alignment with the desired outcome. The persistent habit of speaking in harmony with vision, combined with careful observation of inner thought, forms a powerful, invisible current that shapes reality, attracts resources, and magnetizes the conditions necessary for success. The words we declare also shape character and influence perception. By speaking and thinking in alignment with abundance, confidence, and integrity, the mind becomes attuned to recognize opportunities and act decisively. The millionaire's inner state is reinforced through language, creating a seamless harmony between thought, speech, and action. Mental habits of precise, faith-filled, and constructive speech ensure that nothing is wasted and everything contributes to the manifestation of prosperity, the attraction of the right circumstances, and the alignment of people and resources with the desired vision.